Chapter 3, Diving In, Creating the Project, Step-by-Step Movie 3.1. So the first thing I need to do is launch Xcode. If you have it installed in your dock, you'll be able to launch it from here. If you don't see it in your dock, you can just click Applications, scroll down, and you'll see Xcode. Now if you'd like to see it in your dock, you just click here and drag over and we'll add it automatically. But since it is in my dock, I'll select it here. So the first thing I see is the Welcome to Xcode window. Now if you don't see this when it first comes up, select Window, Welcome to Xcode, and the Welcome to Xcode window will be displayed. So we have three choices. We can get started with a playground, and we'll learn more about playgrounds later in the book series. We can create a new project, or we can check out an existing project. So let's select Create a New Project, and when I do that, the New Project dialog pops up. Now on the left-hand side, I have two sets of options, one for iOS and one for OS X. Since we're building iOS applications, we want to select all our options under iOS. So I select Application, and I select Single View Application, and I click Next. Now for product name, our product is called iDeliver Mobile. Under organization name, you can enter the name of your company, or just your name if you're not affiliated with a company. Under organization identifier, if you have a website, you can use that reverse URL, com.name of your website. Or if you're not affiliated with a company, you can just enter edu.self. So when I enter these two pieces of information, notice they are concatenated or joined together to create a bundle identifier. And this is Apple's way of uniquely identifying your app. Under language, I have two options, Swift and Objective-C. Objective-C is Apple's older language. It's been around for a long time. But Swift is what I recommend. Swift is Apple's newest language. It's easier to learn, easier to use, and it's where Apple will put all of their future efforts. So we select Swift. Then under devices, I can select an iPad, iPhone, or I can say I'm going to create a universal application that works on both. But since we don't want to make this too difficult, we'll specifically design for the iPhone. Next, I make sure I have Use Core Data is unchecked, and I click Next. It's defaulting to my Documents folder, and I like that. I'm going to make sure Create Git Repository is unchecked, and I'll click Create. Okay, so we can see Xcode has created a new project. And on the left side of the Xcode window, when this little folder here is selected, you're seeing the Project Navigator. And the Project Navigator lists all of the files that are part of your project. Since we selected the single view application, there really aren't that many files here. But the other thing you can see are groups, these little folders here. And groups allow you to segregate the files in your project. And we'll be learning more about groups in the Project Navigator later in this tutorial.